Should I go here?
Yes.
Or there?
No, that's fine.
Here? Okay. My name is Noelle Finley, and I live at 35 Court Street. And I'm here kind of impromptu because we've been, as a borough, having a dialogue with the township over some of the noise nuisance issues they're having. So I thought it might be a good opportunity to stop by and talk about some of the noise nuisance issues that we're having on Court and Center due to the Grotto, or the Black Horse Tavern as it's called now. You know, I'm not really here to complain. I'm kind of here hoping that somehow, if it's appropriate, some of the residents from our area could open up a little bit of a dialogue, maybe with council members, maybe with the borough police department. I guess we're just a little concerned because, as probably all of you know, the Grotto was originally Jean Pierre's, which was a little sleepy French restaurant. And then it went through a large renovation and became the Grotto. And the Grotto, again, was not a nuisance problem. I mean, I lived there through the whole renovation and all the years that they were owned as the Grotto. And we never had to call the police. We never heard music or fights or any people in the street. So recently, it's a new owner, which I'm sure most of you know, and it seems as though they're just trying some new revenue-generating events, bands to late, lots of amplified music. It's starting to feel a little bit like it wants to be a restaurant by day and sort of a nightclub by night. And I went through the zoning, the ordinance, our ordinance, and you know, we have a fairly strict noise ordinance. But I just am not sure that the police have the right tools to regulate it. We don't have a decibel reader in the borough. So it's kind of, I don't know if it's the best for going forward. Because I think of the Brick or Isaac's, and they're great now, but what if a new owner comes in and decides to change the way that they do business? So I was just hoping I could kind of come and see what would be the appropriate next step for us. Would it be to come to a work session? I did a little bit of research, and guess what? We're not the only town that's dealing with this. You know, a lot of towns are going through the same situation, and they're doing two things. They're buying decibel readers, and they're educating their businesses. So I've done a little bit of research, and I'd love the chance to come and maybe talk a little bit more formally, if that's appropriate. I don't know. I don't know where to go.
If I may.
Do you want? Sure.
Noelle is one of several neighbors in Ward 2 that I've heard from about the problems. And I guess the concern is that it seems to be an ongoing issue. And as was just pointed out, we've taken a fairly aggressive approach with the township when it comes to La Stalla, which ironically, although it's some distance away, is sufficiently loud to disturb a goodly number of our residents. So this local business within our jurisdiction is an issue that seems to require some attention immediately. And I appreciate your suggestion about the way other towns are dealing with it. I'll leave to the council president about scheduling it for a work session. That might be a very good idea. But a couple of things also occur to me. One is to follow up with our own code enforcement people to see if there's been any recent contact with the owners to reach out, as you put it, to them to say, look, it's a problem. Can we sit down and get this resolved without any kind of significant enforcement action being taken? And it strikes me that should be a dialogue we easily have with the local business, especially one situated at State and Center, which has close proximity to so many of our neighbors like yourself. So I'll take on that through our code enforcement to reach out, and I'll be happy to attend a meeting also and report back perhaps at the next work session on that. But the second thing I was going to suggest to council was that the solicitor perhaps take a look at the ordinance from the standpoint of enforcement and see if there aren't some tools which need to be added there or need to be used in the current enactment, notwithstanding the decibel reading meter which is required for any prosecution of a citation. So between those two things and certainly you and your neighbors perhaps coming into a work session where we can get this kind of globally resolved so we can get it worked out. But as I say, I'll be happy to spearhead a meeting with the owners to try and get this thing resolved pretty quickly.
That would be great. We'd really appreciate it. But we don't want to be a detriment to the businesses. We want to be supportive, and certainly supportive of the Grotto and the Black Horse Tavern and the owners there, but just, you know, to try to make it a little easier on the borough police and us would be great.
Well, you know, the irony is we can't expect less of our attitude towards these things than we're, I think, exercising towards the township. So when it comes to something we do have power over, do have jurisdiction over, it strikes me that we ought to do everything in our power to make it right for the residents. So I think that'll work.
I just felt like looking at the ordinance, I was worried that perhaps it might have been written at a time when the demographic was a little different on State Street. You know, that perhaps it didn't take into account that some of these, you know, now that we've been in Philadelphia Magazine and, you know, a lot of people want to move to the borough and a lot of people want to open businesses in the borough, and I think that it just might change a little bit who's coming and who's opening businesses and what they want to do. So I don't know, it's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Well, we've had the noise ordinance on the list of things that needed to be attended to. So thank you for reminding us to push this up so we can start a discussion on it in a November work session and see where we are and where we need to go. Does that sound reasonable? Are you?
In light of the fact that it's come up before, I mean, I would ask for council to give me authority now to start reviewing the ordinance and start a draft. I mean, I've heard enough between this and it's come up at previous work sessions. I think I have an idea of some of the concerns. I know we discussed it briefly previously. I'd be happy to start putting something together with your approval.
Okay. So can we have a motion to...
I'll move to have the solicitor review the current ordinance for effectiveness and make appropriate suggestions for enforcement going forward.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? No? Okay. No? Okay. If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
Does anyone else wish to be heard at this time?